Hey guys, True Knight here. Howdy doody. Today, we are going to be playing some White Forest Runick. It's an oldie but a goodie. I've been having a lot of nostalgia ever since Justice Hunters came out, and I've been wanting to play like older stuff because I really am not thrilled about the new decks at all. And I want to see how the older stuff can contend with this stuff. And so here we are right now, right? This deck is still fun in my opinion. It was always very fun to play before, and I think part of the thing that inspired me to build this deck is I picked it up, the entire core, in a trade. It was like a throw-in trade at the regional I went to last week, and so it made me just kind of say, well, what if I just put this deck together and mess around with it? And the goal here is that if I do good with these decks, I will try them out at locals. Now, I know that some of these decks that I put together and I play for the channel and you guys, some of them are not going to do so hot and I'm going to get rolled on because simply the game has just progressed past it and it's just power creep. But the decks that do flourish, especially if I'm going up against meta contenders, I'll probably practice and practice and practice and then take it to locals pretty soon. My channel, I do talk about a lot of the competitive stuff out there, like YCS caliber events. We got Worlds coming up in a week or two. Vancouver's coming up tomorrow. It's all well and great, but I'm more of a locals guy. So you're not always going to see me saying, all right, here's Vanquish Soul K9, da 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 da. You guys could see a million of those profiles. I like to show you guys the stuff that not a lot of people are playing because I think that there's probably a good chunk of the player base that's like with me right now that's like, meh, it's not my cup of tea. But let's see how Runick compares against it at locals. A lot of you single guys out there, a lot of you younger guys out there, a lot of you guys that are not in the situation I'm in with post-surgery, a fresh new baby, new work schedule, work life and all that, you guys can get out to a lot more locals than me, so I'm throwing ideas kind of at you, throwing them at the wall and seeing what sticks. So if this inspires you to play it, please comment like, yo, True, I tried your list and I did a lot better than you and here's the critiques I made. Cool. Maybe I'll make a sequel video where I say so-and-so tried out the list inspired by me, did well with it, let's try their list and let's see how we do. Or if I do damn near good enough, I'll take it to locals myself. So I had a lot of success with Tempai Fiendsmith. With Board Breakers, I went 5 or 7-0 with it, so that's the deck that I plan on taking to locals the next time I go, either next week or the week after. So, just giving you guys fruit for thought, okay? This is not just a clickbaity, like, hey, this stuff is going to work, la-da-da-da-da. This is me seeing how does it contend, how does it match up. That's why you see Ice Barrier, Infernoble, Sword Soul, Rizel Pure, you'll see Tempai, you'll see Runick Ice Barrier, or Runick Ice Barrier, you'll see Runick White Forest. Like, I'm trying these other decks that a lot of people at the local level will probably just sit there on a random Thursday and say, it's one of my favorite nostalgias, let's put it together and play it. That's who I'm here for. If you're a player that's like, I need my sweaty Draco Tail and my sweaty K9 Vanquish Soul and my sweaty yummy deck, la da 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 da, I may not be your cup of tea right now. Forgive me, maybe post-ban list I'll be more in the competitive scene of things, but right now as it stands, yummy Vanquish Soul, K9, and Draco Tail just kind of, while I own the entire cores of Draco Tail and K9, I don't know. I just want to see how this stuff matches up against it. So that's what we're doing. That's why I'm doing these videos. So I hope you guys enjoy these. I hope you guys take them for what they are and not sit there and go, oh my god, True, you're such an idiot. Why would you play this? Yada yada yada. You should be playing Vanquish Soul K9. Nah, dude. I'm here to have a good time, not to try and go win $1,000 in cord prizes at a tournament. Like, I don't even know if I'll ever go to a YCS unless one comes to Colorado. I play locals and regionals are kind of my Super Bowl. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys are having a fun time with this. This is more, yes, for the casual player base and for the competitive players that want to take a break from all the sweatiness and want to just try stuff to see what works. And for all we know, maybe we catch fire on one of these and find something that really is a meta buster. So anyway, that'll be it for me. Please like, comment, subscribe. Again, if you guys take one of my deck ideas to locals and do well, shoot me a comment. Maybe we can even get on a video, or I can interview you and we can talk about it. Anyway, that'll be it for me today. Enjoy these matches, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
Caramba, mano, eu está ouvindo.